To give an overview of the different aspects that PRIMEWATER aspires to contribute to. We will have, as you said, more specific talks afterwards to present different areas of PRIMEWATER work, and hopefully we'll have some time for discussion and Q&A at the end that we'll happily can take. So very quickly, I mean, what is PRIMEWATER for? So PRIMEWATER deals with water quality, particularly for inland waters. So this is the domain that PRIMEWATER is looking at. And as Mariano said, it is about an international collaborative initiative. PRIMEWATER brings together different scientific groups along the globe, across the globe, but also private companies, but also public, also authorities all together, trying to work on advanced Earth observation data, integrate those data with other sources of data, and then put further value with hydroecological modeling tools. And the question is, why for? PRIMEWATER has a very clear focus on the water sector needs, on actual, let's say, stakeholders' needs. So all this work that is taking place is about delivering better, let's say, information and services to to water professionals to deal and tackle water quality hazards, exposure and vulnerability reduction. So looking on the way that PRIMEWATER tries to deliver this outcome, we have structured here some basic, let's say, concepts, some basic principles that we have built our work in PRIMEWATER around. So, as I said, at the end of the day, we want to deliver robust services to people on the ground to be able to deal with water quality borne risks. So developing reliable services requires strong scientific background. So a very significant, very important pole, very important area of PRIMEWATER is scientific work that is taking place. But in a way that this scientific work is cross-cutting in their own different scientific domains. Earth observations, remote sensing modeling, and hydroecological modeling have been put together. Experiments have been designed so as to deliver strong new science to the water sector. And then another pillar of PRIMEWATER is operationalizing this science. Trying to pick up results from this first pillar and try to make them work operationally, so as support services, downstream services for the users. Services that we intend to deliver, and as Mariano said, one of the key, let's say, focus area is Sardinia, working closely with the ENAS there and CNR team, is to actually include in the overall process of services development the actual users of the services. So a very strong, let's say, component of co-designing the services is inherent to the PRIMEWATER, and a basis that we're actually, and constitutes a basis where we actually use to deliver and develop the services for the users. An important aspect that we try to also investigate in PRIMEWATER is related to the the constraints of actual uptake of this kind of services. So understanding how people take decisions against Earth observations and let's say advanced intelligence services is part of our work, and a very, let's say, specific work is there taking place in order to better understand how these decisions are taken. And of course, delivering the solutions is the end result. Finally, in order to, let's say, ensure sustainability in the overall, let's say, initiative, the community of practice has been set, building upon existing, let's say, initiatives, and that's making it more viable than any other solution. So, going very quickly to these through those pillars to give you a very quick, let's say, insight about how this is structured, and of course, more details will follow in the specific presentations of our colleagues. So, virtual lab is the concept that under which we structured the scientific work in PRIMEWATER. We wanted to do this, to perform the scientific work in a very organized and structured way, so it is easy to repeat, to expand. Experiments around Earth observations using multispectral and hyperspectral imagery for improving water quality products are taking place. Also working together with high spatial and high temporal resolution images from UAVs and aerial platforms are also taking place. Very strong concepts are researched, and there has been a very interesting session yesterday about PRISMA. So PRISMA mission is a key component supporting these experiments in the Earth observations domain. And then other experiments have been also organized and are taking place in a cross-cutting, let's say, concept with the modeling, with hydroecological modeling aspects in order to investigate how to add additional value to Earth observations by using them either directly as for data simulation, physics-based models, or as input data to data-driven models in forecasting better water quality attributes. A significant part of PRIMEWATER work has to do with the operationalization of the results that come out of the science. So a very complex, let's say, coupling of different workflows, different scientific workflows have been established operationally. Several techniques and models have been operationalized and are improved continuously in order to be, at the end of the day, the position to offer let's say, forecasts, hydrodynamic forecasts and ecological forecasts on inland water domains in an automated way. So this is also very important work that is taking place in PRIMEWATER, trying to put together the results out of the scientific, let's say, research that's taking place. Well, this is well, an overview of how this, let's say, coupling is taking place among all the different components of the scientific components and the services that PRIMEWATER is designing and delivering. Now, going to the development of the end services, what is delivered actually to the intended to be delivered to the each one of the cases and the end users of those services. There is a strategy, there is a methodology that has been elaborated. The key concept here is trying to integrate in all steps of this development the actual, let's say, the actual requirements of end users, and therefore we work closely with ENAS in the case study of in Sardinia, trying to actually make the services as much as closer to the the needs of the particular case study. So we have various levels that we implement this interaction, and obviously the first level is working with the partners within PRIMEWATER that actually are located in these showcases. And then our intention is working with local case stakeholder groups, again, around the specific showcases that we're developing those services. And then finally, in a larger scale, a multi-user panel is set up to follow all this work and exchange and validate the work that we're doing. As said, one of the issues that we're very much concerned in PRIMEWATER is to understand the mechanisms that decisions are taking place against the adoption of Earth observation-based services. So we want to understand better what are the obstacles in adopting this kind of services, and what are the drivers of choosing or let's say engaging with these advanced services. So here, a very specific, very interesting experiment, socio-engineering experiment has been designed using discrete choice experiment methodology to put together a very interesting questionnaire. We would really like to have, we address this questionnaire to everybody that wants to contribute on that. So please, you're more than welcome to pick up this questionnaire and give us your views about those aspects. At the end of the day, we intend obviously to analyze and issue a report on that, trying to shed a little bit more light on how we can actually overall as a sector can overcome certain obstacles and barriers against, let's say, innovation technologies adoption in the field of Earth observation-based services. We mentioned about a demonstration and showcases. So PRIMEWATER is expanding and is actually showcasing the whole world, the whole work that is taking place in 4 cases, in 4 international showcases. For Europe, the Mulagia and the Mendoza system is the showcase that we're working on. Of course, in Europe, there's also another scientific, let's say, showcase, but it's only for running some experiments and not for the actual operational services. When it comes to the US, we have Harsha Lake there. We work for this lake to demonstrate certain concepts, but also going to on the other part of the world and Australia, 2 more showcases, a reservoir, Lake Hume, but also the ponds that Melbourne Water is using for its reclaimed water, or 2 showcases that we're demonstrating how we can make this transition from strong scientific results to actual, let's say, hands-on services for operational purposes. Talking about Mulagia, this has been, for example, the outcome of this exercise that we're taken with ENAS and local stakeholders. This will be the workflow that we are implementing for the operational services. So in terms of detection of water quality attributes, operational automatic, let's say, monitoring information system will be available. Hydrological forecasting as a service will be also available in terms of hydrological attribute, but also hydroecological parameters in the lakes. And then the goal is how to further repurpose this information. The goal here is to generate, let's say, an early warning system for hubs, and even more working in a very, let's say, specific needs that ENAS has in managing hubs, to provide an operational system that actually can assist ENAS during hubs or before hubs, to be able to proactively manage the water lake in Mulanje by blending those two interconnected reservoirs. So based on the strong forecast that we can generate, delivering the opportunity to the managing authority over there to act before and proactively, and that for managing more effectively any potential water quality threats that occur. So this is also the idea of how we structure the services, how we do imagine in PRIMEWATER the services that can be available at the end of the day. So descriptive solutions, and then forecasting and predictive solutions, but also prescriptive solutions that actually can work as decision support tools, and all those based and supported by Earth observation products and data. Okay, so that's a very quick snap of how the services might look. There is a link as well. Everybody can have access in this kind of services for the showcases. And finally, before I give the floor to the rest of our team to talk and elaborate on different scientific, mostly areas of this work, I'd like to invite you all to this initiative that we have put together under IWA. So a new group on Earth observations for water management has been established by IWA and will be fostered by IWA under the digital water program that it holds. It's a very important initiative that actually brings together Earth observations with the actual managers. IWA has the privilege of being an association that has a very, very strong outreach to water managers. So by setting up this community of practice, puts, let's say, Earth observations in the highlight of water management. And I'd like to join you all also to follow us on this effort and participate in this initiative that has been implemented through PRIMEWATER and IWA. More information about this initiative you can find in the links that provided. Also information on how to get involved in this COP. PRIMEWATER is a very ambitious project, and this could not be any differently considering the partners that are actually involved. We have, as Mariano said, we have very, very strong and very dedicated partners. I'm really happy working with this group. Scientific institutions and research institutions, public authorities and water authorities, private companies. So a very strong consortium that is actually doing a very important work in this field. So that was a very quick overview of PRIMEWATER, some key aspects that PRIMEWATER is focusing on. I'd like to thank you for this, for attending this very quick presentation. I invite you all to just follow us and find more information on our website, but also take this survey that we have prepared. We would be really happy to know how you're thinking about Earth observations and advanced services, but also try to see whether you have interest in this community of practice and how this can benefit your operations. So somewhere here, my presentation ends. Mariano.